Hello, welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about progressive overload. Last week we spoke about how to start a diet. Now we're going to be talking about how to best apply your training to get the maximum amount of muscle mass whilst either gaining, losing weight or doing a body recon. Before we start, make sure you subscribe, you like this video if it helps you. What I've done below is I've added our fat loss guide and our great guide of gains, so you've got access to both of them. The great guide of gains has been recently updated and now it includes everything I've just done for my 22-week bulk that I've just finished, and the fat loss guide is going to be updated in the next 6 weeks whilst I go into my diet. So what is progressive overload? Progressive overload is a stimulus that you repeatedly achieve that causes adaptation, preparing your body for the future. If you lift up that weight and you struggle with it, if you continuously lift that weight, what will happen is your body will start adapting to it, your motor units will start recruiting faster, your muscles will start getting bigger, it'll start getting stronger, it'll start laying down more tissue, and within the weeks you'll start to see that progressive overload has now changed how your muscle applies the force for that stimulus. Your body only knows when it's been challenged, it doesn't know what you're training for or anything like that, so you have to challenge it for it to adapt. Progressive overload comes from that consistency and that repeated bouts of the same exercises week after week. Yes, it might be boring, but it is the scientifically proven best way we currently know, unless someone comes out with something new, of how to increase your muscle mass. Yes, a 12-week program can be boring by the end of, well, by 6, but if you really want to gain muscle, this is the best way to do it, right? You need to stop trying to gain muscle in 4 weeks. You need to stop trying to gain muscle in 6 weeks. You need to really commit. You've got your program, all right, but how do we progress further? So there's 3 ways we do it, all right? The first and the most common one is weight, then we've got reps, and then we've got sets. Sets is less common because you just can't increase sets every single week because you'll end up with way too many sets per session. First of all, we're going to look at weight. So you start with 10 kilos, all right? You do 3 sets of 8, and your total volume is 240. Week after, you're like, I'm going to make sure that I hit 3 sets of 8 at 10, so this week I'm going to make sure I hit 12 kilos. Let's assume you hit 3 sets of 8 again, the total volume would be 288. Later down the line, all right, what you'd end up doing, this wouldn't happen, you wouldn't go straight from 10 kilos to 14 kilos unless you were underselling yourself. But maybe after week 6, that's when you go to 14 kilos, all right, 3 sets of 8 again, yields even more total volume, all right? So after a while, what happens is your muscle has to lay down more tissue, it has to recruit more motor neurons and motor units, and therefore we are able to lift heavier and create more muscle mass. Simple. And it's the same with reps. All right. So if your rep range is 3 sets of 8, all right, if you're going to keep the weight the same, all you're going to do is, if you hit 3 sets of 8 and you completed all 3 sets of 8 and you're close to failure, you aim for 3 sets of 10 the next time you go. All right, and that might mean that the first set absolutely ruined you, and you just end up being absolutely fatigued for the next 2 and you only manage 8, right? You still increase in total volume. Then on week 3, you go again, you first set, you're aiming for 10 again, and you get 10, and then you might only get 9 the second set, and then 9 the third set, and again, the total volume has gone up. The way you'd go in the future is, once you've got to 10 to 10, you might go to 3 sets of 12, all right? You're aiming for 12, you might get 12, 10, 8, you might get 12, 10, 9, whatever. And then once you hit 3 sets of 12, increase the weight or increase the sets, drop the reps to increase total volume. All you're trying to do with the reps within your sets is increase mechanical tension to stimulate enough muscle protein synthesis without the systemic fatigue. This is why you don't want to be going to 15, 20 reps, especially on your big compound lifts, because you increase systemic fatigue and your central nervous system is just absolutely cooked. When it comes to sets, this is the one that seldomly you'd want to be increasing off the cuff. You probably might increase from 3 to 4 sets if you need an intensifier, or if you're the back end of a deload or the back end of a block where you've absolutely nailed it and you're going to bring your reps down from 12 to 8, but increase the amount of sets you do and increase the amount of weight. First week you do 3 sets of 8, all right, 10 kilos. You don't want to increase the reps, you don't want to increase the weight, so you go to 4, all right, and you manage 4 sets of 8, 10 kilos. You can see how because we're adding another set, it's a huge increase in volume. But obviously with the volume comes the fatigue, and this is why you can't just suddenly bump sets up. Okay, so after week 8, that's when you might go to 4, 5, but you probably, and I'll show you on the next slide, go to 4 sets, but increase either the reps or the weight. All right. Our total aim is to hit between 8 and 20 sets per week per muscle group. On the lower end if you're a beginner, intermediate, on the higher end if you're advanced, and on the higher end if you want to increase that muscle mass. So at the minute I'm doing 20 sets per week on my arms because I've got noodle arms. Alright, in all honesty right now I feel like I've got noodle everything. So if we can combine all three together, which is what will happen in the real world, is on week 1 you've got 3 sets, 8 reps, 10 kilos. At that point I'd be telling my client to increase the amount of weight they do. So we're aiming, on week 2 we're aiming for 3 sets of 8 at 12 kilos. Alright, but obviously what's happened is we haven't managed to because the fatigue's got too much, which is brilliant. We know that we're close to failure. Brilliant, great aspect of what we're trying to achieve. So what we might do is you're doing 3 sets, you've got 8, 7, 5, is you might add an intensifier there and increase the amount of sets. Or you might put a drop set in there or a back off set or something on those lines to increase the total volume up and beyond what you did previously. And then you'd stick with that for week 3. So you're going for 4 sets of 12 kilos, alright, but you're trying to match and or better the reps from last week. That's literally all you're doing. That's progressive overload 101, is matching or bettering this week. It's simple. We only increased by 24 kilos, right? So 2 reps total. But if you increase by 2 reps every single week on every single exercise, you'd be a happy man. All of them. The aim is to increase overall volume, maintaining good form. Good form is better than perfect form. Close to failure, right? I will repeat close to failure as often as I need to be close to failure. But how do you know it's all working? Right. The first three are you close to failure? Are you close to true failure? Not just when it burns and you're like, oh, it burns, I'm going to stop. Alright, are you working hard? Is your muscle getting pumped? Are you sweating? Are you starting to really get fatigued? Starting to get tired by the back end of your set? Alright, and do you wake the next day? Not the novelty, like after week 1, but after week 6, 7, 8 of the same program. Are you waking the next day? All 3 of those yeses, you know you're building muscle. You cannot, there's no way that you're not. And if you want a more objective measure, take measurements. See the size of your biceps, the size of your chest increasing. Take pictures so you can compare side by side from week 1 to week 12. And use common sense. If you're putting the graft in, you're not overeating, right? And you can start to see your clothes fitting better, your shoulders getting wider. It's just a little bit of common sense to understand, yes, you are indeed gaining muscle. Go, absolutely smash it. If you found this helpful, make sure you like it. Hit the subscribe button. Hit me up with any questions you need to. Like I said, I've linked my fat loss guide and my gains guide below, and you can access them